Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. A couple of things from a couple of different amazing peeps. Some stuff from sparxUK here. Barry has sent me so much stuff over the last 2 years, I kid you not. It's more than 2 years. And it's like on the shelf. I've got so many things I need to build. But I'd like to try and do things in a sort of order way because, I feel like I need to, if someone sent me something, I'd like to build it and show my appreciation for it. And I'm always super grateful for anything that gets sent to me. But the problem is, I've had more things than time permits. There's like 52 weeks in a year, and I counted the other day, I've got like 400 videos to potentially do. I'm not sure I can face 400 videos. But yeah, anyway. So the bottom line is, yeah, this is a bit out of order, because this just arrived. Some things I like to try and do, because they're quick and easy, and it makes my life easy. Well, easier. Nothing's easy about my life. Easy in terms of trying to get a video up. Because I always feel under immense pressure to try and do a video a week. Yeah, and you may think, oh, that's not a problem, just take your time, Chris, don't do a video a week. Well, when that happens, I lose Patreons, and I always get on the feedback thing, Gadget doesn't push out enough videos, which is ridiculous, because you know what, even if there's just a gap of a week, I usually then catch up. And we've got 8 early access videos. Try and find 8 early access videos on someone else's Patreon. I don't think you're going to find that. So this is a curveball direction change just to get this out of the way. But then I'm going to try and get back on with some of the things that other people have sent me. I've had some amazing things. Palmer sent me a couple of different nice things. Something Sega related, something Commodore related. Like, I don't know, 3 years ago, and I haven't had a chance to show it anywhere yet. So, and Stephen Leary sent me 3. I've got 3 or 4 things to show from Stephen Leary. I've got stuff from Stefan to show, I've got Live 2 stuff to show, I've got stuff from so many people, and I'm really, really, really grateful. That's the thing, I am super grateful. But you may just have to be a little bit patient for me to get around to getting through things. Oh, Kavanoz, that's another thing, microscope, that's coming up after this, I think, because that landed around Christmas time, and you know what, it's just unbelievable that he would donate something so amazing and expensive and costly. It's just, some of these things that people give me just almost bring me to tears. They really do. You may think I'm being fake saying that, but the few people that have seen the birthday unboxing, yeah, well, I was kind of a bit like that when Kavanoz sent me that microscope. Anyway, these came from Hey Birt. That's the first thing. Yeah, what are these? I think it's 23 pin, yeah, female D-type connectors. The only thing I'm aware of that uses these is the Amiga video port. So these are amazing. Now, thanks to Hey Birt, there'll be a link down to his channel below. I'll show you a little bit of his webpage here. You can see some of the things he works on. Lots of the same sorts of things, similar machines that I cover on my channel, but some of the things I don't as well. A lot of Tandy stuff, and it's really, really interesting. And he's a really interesting, funny guy to watch. So check out Birt's channel. And actually, I don't think his name is Birt. It's Charles Hey Birt. My brain is blank. But anyway, it's thanks to him I've got these. So I've got 2 of these. And this should be a clue. Well, you've seen it on the title anyway. It's a VGA adapter. So, this is going to go in between those connections there and get soldered on. Obviously, got to make sure you go the right way up. I need to check where pin 1 is. And then you have a VGA connector. So sparxUK kindly sent me this bit. Yeah, with the kit for this, the components, passives, caps, resistors, a couple of ICs on it. There's a 7.4 series. And what I presume is some sort of sync splitter or something that goes there. Yeah, and we get, RGB to VGA. Commodore had their own one of these, I think. Now, bear in mind, VGA, well, your monitor has to support the standard definition stuff. When I say standard definition, the 15 kilohertz, as well as, 31, almost 32 kilohertz, I think. Yeah, and sparxUK sent me this, so this will be another video. It's a programming PCB. You can see there's very few pads on here, around these profiles of these chips here. I've got a greasy finger in there now. It's for programming Xilinx CPLDs, and it's from Matthias Heinrichs again. Matthias Heinrichs, is it? I always get his name wrong. Yeah, Matthias Heinrichs. So that's really cool. So we'll do that in another video. Yeah, I got myself some ceramic disc caps because they're nearly out. A couple of gals because those were nearly out. And I think everything else here is for this. So without further ado, I'll start by soldering on some of the SMD stuff. I think we've got 7.4 series there, so we'll do that last. And we've got a small teeny toty IC here. Let's just have a look what this is. Well, I think the part number is a 7316. So I don't know, is that a sync splitter or something like that? It must be. There's jumpers on this as well, hence why we've got a jumper here, and he's kindly given me that. That's quite cool. And on the board where the jumper goes, it says 1 to 2 is heatsink, 2 to 3 is C-sync. Yeah, so presumably you can use C-sync or heatsink as the heatsink, I want to say, because you're going to have V-sync. Otherwise, VGA wouldn't work, I don't think. I think VGA needs heatsink and V-sync. So I think you're selecting what you want to use as your heatsink. Do you want to use the C-sync or the heatsink? I think. Could be wrong. And we've got some ferrite beads here, 333 ohms, I think that says. What's that? 47 ohm, 100 ohm, 75 ohm. Oh, there's going to be termination, aren't they? And 100 microfarads. So, a really simple build. It's going to be a 2-minute job, this, I think. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. I should be getting Kavanoz's microscope out straight away. And I've got another microscope as well, actually. It came from Plan C. It's the manual type, you know, with actual real lenses, and it's pretty big. So I might do a review of that. I'm not sure I've got anywhere to put it. That's the problem. It's so big. You really need like a dedicated desk to something like that. Oh my God, I've knocked it out of position. Look. Yeah, pin 1 is down here on the left. So as you look at a chip like this, generally, even if there's no pin 1 marking on the chip, the print, you just want to be able to read it as you look at it, like I am here, with its writing, you know, readable this way up, pin 1 bottom left, if that makes sense. Yeah, this thing I've used so many times. Came from my mum and dad, actually. So I mean, I'll continue to use that for things like this, where maybe the microscope might be a bit of an overkill. The pads are really small on that. Like, there isn't much clearance. Yeah, there you go. So I can't even get that chip into position without nudging it, because the pads are so small. Yeah, I've just about managed it there, just by holding it and smushing it around while I try and solder the 1 pin. There we go, that's 2 done. So I'll get a little bit of flux around it. I figure if we get the SMD stuff on first, and I'll finish off with a through hole. I do eventually learn the best ways of doing things. Sometimes I just like to solder certain things, though. I just like, oh, I want to solder that on. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, oh, I don't care about that, I'm soldering it on anyway. I don't know why that is. I think what we try to do as humans, we get bored doing the same things, don't we? So sometimes we do absolutely irrational, illogical things just because that's what we want to do. It makes no sense to anyone. It just feels like a fun thing to do at the time. I mean, I usually do that with some of those builds, you know, where you've got to put a CPLD on, you know, with 128 pins or more or something. I'm like, I'll do that at the end. And then, of course, I've got a problem then, because everything is around the component I want to solder on. I'm like, I'm going to give myself, you know, a huge challenge. But you know what they say, challenge yourself. If anything, you learn the hard way when you do things like that. You know, you do at least come away going, next time I'm not doing it that way around. Next time I will put the SMD stuff on first when I have maximum clearance. So there we go. I did get a little bit of solder on something there I didn't want to do, but that is on there. So I've got 47 ohm down here and 375s there, so let's do those next. Let me get the 47s if I can find them. Oh my God, these are small. These are like those 040 something, 040 nothing components. Hang on, did that even go on there? Yes, it did. Salt is bigger than that. Just for the record, a grain of salt is bigger than that. It's so small I can't see it now. Where's it gone? Oh, it's there. Right, so hang on. I've got to be careful it doesn't fall down a hole, because the holes are actually bigger than the component. Well, just about. Now it's stuck to the flux. And it's upside down. Stuck to the flux again. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be bothered about the alignment of it in terms of the print. You know, sometimes I like to get the print the same way around with all the components. No one's going to be able to ever see the print, it's that small. So yeah, I'm not bothered. I'm just going to push into it and the pad. There we go. It's soldered into place. Tap it, hold it down. Yeah, and if it's not straight, I could just add a little bit of flux and reflow with hot air, as you've seen me do one of the videos. Just get a tiny bit of solder there. And this is the thing, the solder, look how thick that is, yeah. It's thicker than the actual component itself. So you can't get like the tiny amount that you need, you end up with a blob. But what you can do when you get that sort of problem is just add a bit of dedicated flux. My solder contains flux before anyone goes, "You're soldering without flux again." No, I'm not. My solder has flux in it. I get so fed up of people saying that. That's it. So that's the 47 on. Next, the 75s, wherever those have gone. These are so small, I can't actually imagine ever getting to a point where there's one of these little bandolier things and they're even smaller. I can't see that even being, I can't see that being possible. It couldn't be any smaller. Even if it was smaller, I'm not sure I could carry out fitting one even with a microscope, to be honest. Alright, I'm going to try and move it over here. Can you even see? I've just moved it a little bit, moved the PCB a little bit for you there. So, hang on a minute, these are supposed to be 75 ohms. That's, why does it say K58 on it? 85K? X58? I don't know, it doesn't fill you with much with confidence, does it, when it's supposed to be 75 ohms and it says X58 on it? You know what, I'm just going to solder one pad here and I'm going to measure it. I don't think that's the right component. I think he's maybe mixed it up and thought it was 75 ohms. Oh, hang on, it isn't. I'm just going to try to get it straight on the pad. That's it, and I'm going to measure it. Yeah, it's coming up 80 ohms. So actually, I think those are 80 ohms, they're not 75. Which explains why it's got an 8 on it. Although, I don't know it. Yeah, it says it's either X58 or 85X. I'm tempted to say that's 85 ohms actually. It might have been a case of he couldn't get 75s or something. And of course the easy way to mount these is just get a little bit of solder on all the pads and then you use hot air and just, like, you know, push the components in as the solder heats up. Right, let's get the third one on. Right, next we've got the 100 ohm on the sink line, as far as I can see. The 100 ohm is here somewhere. Yeah, it's a wee bit blobby and awful at the moment. So what else have we got? We got two things down here, a 100 microfarad and a 0.1. Because one's written above the other, I'm guessing it's like those pads are the 0.1, those pads are the 100. We've got HS jumper there, VS jumper there, another 100 ohm here, 3 more 75s there. Yeah, thanks ever so much, Barry, for taking the time to and the money to sort all these things out, and send me all the components and everything. It's just incredible, because a build like this, yeah, it won't cost you a massive amount, but what it will cost you is a massive amount of time in terms of ordering all the parts and things. Yeah, you will have to go through though, you will have to go through and, you know, find the things from different suppliers, because the problem is as well, talking about the Terrible Fire things and other cards in general, is sometimes parts are out of stock, sometimes parts are no longer sold, so, you know, you have to use a few different suppliers. I bet Barry did for these. I bet he didn't get all of these just from DigiKey or somewhere. I bet some of these bits from one supplier, some from another. And then of course you've got shipping costs with those different suppliers. Yeah, so I'm very, very grateful. It saves me a massive amount of time and effort. And as I always say to Barry, with things like this, whilst I'm super grateful that it's a donation, I don't mind paying for parts and shipping and everything, because well, it just doesn't sit well with me when people keep sending me so much stuff. That said, if they didn't keep sending me so much stuff, I wouldn't have so much stuff to show. You know, in an ideal world, I might like win the lottery or something where I don't need to work anymore, and then if that happened, I wouldn't have Patreon, I wouldn't have advertising, I wouldn't have anything. I'd just be doing my videos with an infinite supply of funds from the lottery. Yeah, here's hoping that one day I might win the lottery. And incidentally, if I won the lottery, I would refund every single person who supported me on Patreon, and anyone who's donated anything would get quite a large return thank you sum. I'm talking about things like that Falcon. I was thinking that if I was one of these people that won like, I don't know, 2 million or something on the lottery, I'd be sending William like 5 grand to say thanks for that Falcon. And I'm sure he'd refuse it because he's a really nice person. He'd go, nah, it's alright Chris, I don't want the money. And I'd be like, no, I absolutely insist. And yeah, I know it's easy for someone to say something like that in life and then do the complete opposite. But it's like the more I do YouTube, the more I hate some of it. I find some amazing people, the people that support me, the people that are kind, etc. But there are some nasty people out there. There are people who get jealous just the fact that Patreon exists. Yeah, that people are kind enough to want to help to support a channel like mine on Patreon. And I just see it as jealousy, because you know what? I do support a couple of channels on Patreon. I can't really afford to do that. Well, this is the thing. Some of the people that support me probably can't quite afford, shouldn't be, you know, helping me the way they are financially, because, you know, maybe they're like me, sometimes struggling to make ends meet on occasion. So we need to get some 0.1s on, and we need another 100 there. Yeah, as I was saying, I've been thinking about my channel on Patreon and all that sort of stuff for a while, and I hate it. I hate the donation side of it, because I feel like I'm under pressure. And the reason why I'm under pressure is because, well, why shouldn't I be? If someone's giving me $1 or, you know, more a month, I have to deliver something for that. I can't just sit back and go, oh, I'll just have a month off, you know, book a holiday, have a month off. I can't do that. It just doesn't feel right. I mean, Patreon for me, since I lost my job, really changed from being a tip jar to being actual percentage of my income. Yeah, I have to pay tax and stuff. I have to micromanage my blooming budgets and things. So it's great that I've had all that support, because if I hadn't had the support, it wouldn't be a channel. I'd be doing something else. You could argue that maybe I'd be better, you know, financially better off, actually, because I wouldn't have been spending any of my own money as well to try and do this stuff. It's a case of the two sort of go hand in hand. It's like, whilst I'm doing this, my channel keeps going, but then I need the Patreon support to keep going. And sometimes I think I just don't want to do it anymore because of the pressure, not being able to keep up with, well, like things like this, you know. If I hadn't changed the schedule now and just got on with this would be like 3 years away or something, which you can say, oh, that's a good thing. But you know what, anybody doesn't like being surrounded by 100 million things that need doing, and that's been my life in general, like my house. You know, I've got these issues in my house I need to fix, so many things that I've been working on. You want things out of the way, yeah? You know, you feel like you've got this massive weight on your shoulders all the time. And that's just who I am. It's just the way I am, really. I'd like to be able to get through everything that's being donated like this, some of these projects and things, and build them, thank the person for kindly sending it, and yeah, I'm just running so far behind. Right, I'm going to heat the antics up now. Yeah, so I've got a load of flux around the various points there. Even this antex was a donation. you know, cost-wise. I think it was Timo Momo, wasn't it? I think he gave me a £25 or £30 donation on one of my videos, and it came at a time, it was just helped so much really, because my iron had just died, yeah, and I didn't have any funds to be able to replace that month. So, and then this is the thing, when you do a YouTube channel like this, you'll know yourself that, well, maybe everyone's channel's different, but the way my channel is, I pick up something like this and I go, right, I'm just going to work on that. That's what I think I need to do for now. And there could be a reason. In this case here, it's because it's fairly easy for me to get on with this, and then it allows me more time this week to edit another video. Some of the more time-consuming stuff. And some of the things I do, some of the videos I do, I kid you not, I'll spend 2 days editing, and whole days, starting at 8:30 in the morning, stopping maybe at lunch for 20 minutes, and then like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I'm like, I've had enough, my brain's mellowed, I'll pick it up tomorrow. Yeah. So, yeah, something like this is far easier to build, giving me more time to catch up with editing. I've now lost my thought process. Yeah, I was talking about funds, wasn't I? I was talking about how you manage your budgets and things like that when you're doing anything like this, any kind of YouTube channel. And your budget is always consumed by the next video you do, the few videos you do, and you see what I mean? So it's like, I mean, just this month, I'd spent this month's budget, I think 3 days before the start of the month, on things that I thought, oh, I absolutely need that, I absolutely need that. And I'm talking about things like mains leads, yeah? You won't believe it. It's like, you know, standard kettle lead, ATX mains leads. I have a shortage in this room by about 3 or 4. And I thought to myself, oh, those will be cheap. They're like £4.99 each or something like that. Really, for a mains lead? Anyway, I did eventually find a seller who's got some second-hand ones, and he was selling a load of them, and I bought 3 for like £1.85 each. But I need some more extension leads in here because, well, the ones I've got are stupid. You know, they're like, I've got like a 3-pin one and a 6-pin one and a 4-pin one. I want to just get rid of 2 or 3 of them and just replace them all with 8-way ones, so that I can have things like the Mega Drive plugged in and monitors and things, as well as the LCD screen. You know, I'm still an RGB cable short really for my Amiga 2000, but I will get one of those. I did that kindly of a coffee donation the other week, which is the first time in quite a while I'd seen a donation on there. And again, I'm not trying to get donations. And before the whiners start whining here, I'm not trying to get more money. I'm not. That isn't what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about the pressures. The pressures are on me when I'm doing things like this, and why sometimes someone can send me something and it'll be like 18 months before I get around to doing it. Sometimes it can be 18 months waiting for the budget. And here's a good example. DE10 Nano. Right, I kindly got an amazing case from, I can't remember his name now, my mind's blank. The guy who did the Spectrum, the Mectrum build. You'll know who I'm talking about. Stick his name top left. So I had that case for the DE10 Nano and some components to build some of the interfaces for it, you know, like the USB one, RAM board, etc. He kindly sent me all that stuff. It must be 2 years ago now, and have I been able to find a point in a month where I'm like, oh, this month I'll get the DE10 Nano? Nope. COVID messed that up big time. In fact, it was before COVID he sent me that case, and then all through COVID you couldn't get a DE10 Nano, and then now you can get a DE10 Nano. The prices are ridiculous, like 180 quid or something, I don't know. It's a lot of money. So I'm like, well, that is my entire budget for a month. And you may think, well, that's a lot of money for a month for a budget. But when you do 4 videos a month and you need flux, IPA, cotton buds, components, none of the components are cheap. They just aren't. Prices have gone nuts. Yeah, the money goes nowhere, is the point. The money goes nowhere, which is why I'm grateful, because the channel wouldn't exist had I not had that level of support. But it isn't about, but yeah, just to reiterate, this is not about wanting more money. I'd like to make my own money in life, repay every one of those people, and then just continue with the channel without worrying about money. That's the thing, isn't it? Everyone in life wants to not worry about money. That's what life is. That's what mortgages are. That's what jobs are. It's like we have to do all this stuff. There's nobody gets out of it unless you're lucky enough to be part of a wealthy family. Right, anyway, I've flowed all those. I'm going to heat with some hot air and then get the dip bits on. But yeah, you can see it's a bit of a fluxy mess. Some of these components here are all over the place. They really are. They're a bit higgledy-piggledy. But they should straighten out with the hot air. In fact, I'll do that next. Let's get the... I always use this metal tin just to stand it off so that my bench doesn't get so much in the way it heats. And I'm going to unplug the antex before I start a fire, because I'll forget. Hot air at 405 degrees. Yeah, you may wonder why the 5? Where did that 5 come from? And I'm like, I'm one of these people that once something works, don't break it. And it's like the first time I did SMD reflowing using this, I found 405 degrees worked so well. So I'm like, that's it. 405 degrees every time, unless there's a reason to definitely go lower. Yeah, so I'm just going to hang on, put it on the middle there. I'll do captain tape under that. It's not normal tape. Just turn the airflow down a wee bit, because you know what, that's capable of blowing anything off the board. We'll just heat, and I'll just watch them with my magnifier here. Right, those are all pretty straight on that side. Just let it cool before I flip it over. So I'll do these 3 75 ohms. That's it. Right, looking on the underneath this, you've got 1 here, 13 there, 14 here, I think, and 23 or something up there, is that right? Yeah, 23. Yeah, 13 and 23 on the side. So if we open one of these things here from Birt. Yeah, so on this, looking at the blue fascia, we've got nothing written on it. Maybe we have got 13 down here, maybe, I don't know. On the back. Yeah, so pin 1 top left. So I just need to find pin 1 on there now. Yeah, it's going to go that way. And then what you need to do here is just wedge it over there like that, I think. Is it going to go on? Yeah, that's really stiff. Yeah, and then I guess when you've got it like that, you could just, inspect, and see on the blue plastic there 1, and on here it says 1. I'm not really sure whether that's very straight or not. It looks like it needs to press in here a little bit like that, and then there maybe. Yeah, I think that's about as straight as I'm going to get to. And what I'm not going to be able to do is get it right up into that gap. And if I did, then we wouldn't have the little bit exposed at the bottom of the pad to be able to solder onto. So you know what, where it is now, I think it's fine. And of course you want it to be straight like that. I wonder if there's a 3D printed housing you can get for these. I would imagine there's probably something out there. If there isn't, I'm sure someone will create one. So yeah, I'm just going to I was thinking, is there anything else I really need to solder before that? I think not. I think I can just solder that. I'm going to change over to chunkysolder.com. This giant reel came from my good friend Dr. Andrew. I've started to try and remind myself to use for builds, because it is pretty thick. If you compare to the normal solder, it's twice as thick. So if you don't use it for things like this, you'll never use it for anything. And I think that's his problem, which is why he's got about a ton of it here. Hang on, I'm using the wrong iron now. The iron's not plugged in. I'm there thinking, why is it not melted? The element gone. No, it's not plugged in. Yeah. And what I like about the solder, strangely enough, it's got that old flux smell that modern solder doesn't have. I don't know what it is, some sort of rosin or something that modern solder doesn't smell anything like it. This smells like when I first soldered a speak and spell, or one of those, what's that thing with the bones where you pull the bones out? Operation. I fixed one of those with a soldering iron, and I borrowed my dad's iron at the time, and I borrowed solder we had, and this is what it smelled like. It's probably really bad for you compared to modern solder. I mean, it's leaded as well. It's got lead in it, but that's what we like to use. Yeah, anyway, you can see why I'm using this though. It's big, you know, it's flowing really well here on these huge connections. And by the time I'm done, I'll have used approximately 1 centimetre of it. You could argue that solder's a bit too big, really, because it looks a bit awful, that, but anyway, it'll look alright when it's cleaned up. And I was looking at the jumper pads for the vertical and horizontal sinks under here, and there's a note on the silk screen that says only solder those there if you don't have the 7414, is it? Which I think is a Schmidt. Is it Schmidt in there? 7414. Yeah, just 1 or 2 points here I'm going to reflow with a bit of dedicated flux, just because, well, they don't look so clever. You see, when that's going to go into the Amiga, I think you'd want the jumper on the top here, really. If it's the other way up, it's going to stick out to the, might stick out to the table. There's no pad here either. That's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? You see that? It's like we've got one there. We don't have one here. There's a bit of one there. I don't know how to that PCB design. Yeah, so this stands up a bit, look, so it's going to sag down a wee bit like that. And because this is just like tilted slightly, yeah, I didn't get it quite as straight as I could have done there. And again, I'm going to use chunky solder. So another reason for me expediting this particular issue here, you know, this thing, is again amazing donation. Again, you know, I mentioned Parma before, from Parma and Sparks. They sent me an LCD panel, a DELL one. It's weird, it's got like round nuts instead of X nuts. What's going on there? Yeah, on this side here, there's nothing to solder onto. But I can figure if I get a crazy amount of solder there, it's going to go through, and there is a solder point, I think, on the other side. I don't know. Yeah, you can see what I mean. Isn't that strange? It's got round things here. I don't know. Anyway, right, so yeah, you could argue I should have put that 742 on. Let's do that next. The interesting point there as well is there's your solder points. You can't get to them once you put this on. But then again, you only need those soldered if you don't have this on. Back with another weird camera angle. Yeah, if you've been watching some of the stuff we've been doing, PC related things, you know, things that have needed a VGA screen, I've had to point downwards at my screen there. I want to get something mounted more in a better place, and I had an amazing donation from sparxUK and Parma. They went halves on the screen, so it's a DELL screen. It's, you know, widescreen there, but it supports the 15 kilohertz stuff that the Amiga outputs, and potentially the systems as well. And the only thing it's lacking is mounts. So I've got one of those arms to try and fit on a desk here. I did test this, it works, and I just briefly cleaned off all the marks and things off the front. It's perfect, it's a really good screen. Yeah, so I've got one of these monitor arms here, VESA arm. So this is where I'm going to start. Surely this is going to be fun to assemble, isn't it? Yeah, so you've got like a bracket here that obviously mounts onto your table. I was a bit worried it might be a bit of a feeble thing, but you know what? That's going to be more than strong enough to hold the weight of a monitor on the desk. I'm going to try and wedge it, I'll show you in a minute, in between the 2000 and the 1084S, and then I can, you know, it'll be on an arm, it'll be easy to move around, and I can use it easily on that desk, testing desk. Anyway, I'll report back. I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm sure everyone's capable of building one of these, following the instructions. Right, I lied. They're all going to vary, but I thought I'll show you some of this anyway. It looks like, you can see I've got 3 holes here. It looks like you've got to unscrew this for 1,000,000 turns by the looks of things. and then on the bottom of this base here, it's got 3 holes. Those 3 holes marry up with that. So this is how the main part of, the main mounting arm mounts onto this, which obviously then goes on your desk like that, on the edge of your desk. Wow, this is so annoying. This one's not too bad, that screw there, because the tool will go all the way around. This one here, tighten that up, is going to be the same as the first one was, which is you go down to there, up, you hit the metal. So you've got to keep taking it off, put it back in, rotate all up, and try and hold the darn thing at the same time as twisting it. And it's quite tight now, and I think maybe it's because I tightened the other two up. I perhaps shouldn't have done that until all of them were in. The Commodore's quite a thick desk, doesn't it? Yeah, it's one of these where the instructions don't quite match the thing. So, see this here. See how the piece there's down? This one's up. But it's got the same thing here. It doesn't show the arm, it's got a wiggly line as if they cut the end off here, just showing you this piece. But you certainly can't bend it with your hands like that. I'm probably going to hurt myself doing that. I know, it doesn't even move that. So, that's a bit weird. Yeah, okay, let's mount this on the table then, I think. Right, we've only been going 5 minutes, I've got parts left over already. You can sort of mean about this bench though, I've got all this junk here which will all just get shifted off on a big ESD mat here for testing things. So yeah, just at the moment I have got junk on this table and some things to go out. Got some boards there for CRG and sparxUK and 1 or 2 other people, I think. Anyway, that's mounted now, so it's pretty firm. It's not quite as straight as it could be in terms of the back there, but I've got the round plate married up with the metal underneath of this here. It comes down about 1.5 inches, and it's bang in the middle there, which is why there's a gap here, just to get really good sturdy support. Sorry if that's a little bit wobbly and blurry. You can see how it clamps on there, and I've sort of positioned that sort of centrally, just so that it makes a really good grip to that metal bar. So according to those crazy instructions, the next thing seems to be this. I don't know. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I'm not sure if there's a fault with this or something, because it's showing it says plus here. What do you rotate? Where? What? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, move it nearer this way. Move what that way? Do you know what I mean? That is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Alright, let's just get this onto the mount. The screw's just going to go straight through that. Oh god, the screw's going to go inside it now. Yeah, I need to go get some washers, I think. Yeah, so I put one of the washers there. I'm not really a big fan of the size of those washers. They're almost the same size of the head. I mean, that does kind of mean that you get like a self-centering thing going on, where as it, pulls into centre, it goes like in the middle like that. But I'm not convinced that's right. So I need a mains lead and I need a VGA lead, don't I? And it's worth getting those in first. And you can sort of run it down the inside of this plastic thing here, and I think there's one somewhere on the bottom as well. Right, let me try and get this finished. It's the following day. It's like I've had to do all sorts of things today, jobs around the house. Right, that's that socket on. So the final thing are the 2 caps, or 3 caps, I think. Yep, all the legs are good, pin 1 is good, pin 1's up this side here. Sorry if that was a bit close. So I'm going to clean some cobwebs, toothbrush with some IPA, and then go and give it a try. Other than my blobby solder there, 1 or 2 things not being perfectly straight, it's not too bad at all. Yeah, this side, I mean I did clean up as I went along here, but I'm just going to cotton bud this bit. Where those caps and things were. I mean, this is why I ultrasonic it, because you know what? I didn't clean there properly with a toothbrush before I stuck that socket on. This is going to be taking 5 volts from this connector and ground. Those are the things I'm most concerned about in terms of, do we have a short? Yeah, 0, nothing. It's only not 0, but not a low resistance. On resistance, 3 meg. So yeah, we haven't got a short between VCC and ground there, but that's assuming that VCC and ground are going to the connector. And this is why I didn't show you me fitting it. You can see it down there, it's pretty tight, close to the wall, but it was an absolute mare trying to get that into that gap. And filming this bit at the end, if I push the whole weight of the monitor down, look, it does move, but it's spring loaded. So like, what's that all about? It's like you can move it lower, but you can't keep it there. Anyway, not all arms are going to be the same. You probably won't be able to see the part number there. It's P2241HB. So there'll be a link to this table down below, but you can see just looking at this here, there's an awful lot of VGA monitors that will work with an Amiga. Woohoo! VGA! Yeah, there are two, what look like fingerprints or something here. The pressure points on the screen, aren't they? So maybe that screen is not perfect, so I just put some components away if I sound a bit distant. Oh, anyway, I'm really tight on space around here because I've got so much stuff on this bench. Right, let's just pull the mouse over. The display, oh, it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear. What's exciting here for me now is I can use my 2000 and my 4000. I haven't had to buy an RGB cable for my 2000, and I can just leave them both connected up. Technically, I could use them both at the same time. Let's just load a game. So this is using the TF534, by the way. I'm just going to try and clean here. Maybe I got some fingerprints on that, but I don't know. I think that's actually some damage to the screen, actually. It's not coming off, though, is it? I don't know. That is a bit mysterious, to say the least. You see what I don't get? It's as you move the cursor over it. Yeah, it's like blue, isn't it? Move the cursor over it. The cursor doesn't change. It's like the cursor's red. So it's like when there's grey there, you can see it. When there's any other colour, you can't. I don't know. Like if I put this workbench icon over there, look, you can't see it now. Look, it's gone. How strange is that? Of course, something I've just thought of that's going to be a bit of a problem is I don't have sound, do I now? This is the thing, when you're using something like a 1084S, you've got sound. When you use a modern screen like this, you don't have any sound, so I'm going to have some speakers with this. It looks amazing, this screen. So yeah, these marks down here, I think they're fingerprints, and I think that on one of the internal layers, perhaps on, you know, the inside of this layer here, or perhaps on the screen itself. I don't know, so I think I can, at a later date, I'll do a teardown of this. I'll try and carefully disassemble it. I suspect what's happened is, you know, one of the common problems with LCD displays like this is, you know, you've got like little LEDs equally spaced there on the backlight, yeah, to create the backlight. There could be, I don't know, like 8 of them in a column there, or row rather, and then there could be a number of columns, and I reckon at some point one of those has failed, or more of them have failed. It's been serviced, because it came from a company where there was a job lot of these, like hundreds of them apparently. And yeah, when someone reassembled it, I think they've just got a fingerprint there, because it doesn't seem to be any kind of damage to the outside, and it isn't the actual display. You know, if I move the cursor there, you can see it's not blue. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a problem with the blue sections there, you know, the blue segments in that area, but the colours look normal. If I put this there, can you see it looks white? You can't even see it there now. It's gone. So, I don't know, maybe it is just an imperfection of the screen, but I can live with it. I've played with this quite a bit. Anyway, let's load a few games, and I'll show you. It looks really sweet. So, let's give Tiny US a go. And I've got some speakers set up here as well for use with this, because obviously it doesn't have sound. I'll show you the speaker system in a minute, but yeah, I'm really pleased with this setup now. I've got a really good amount of bass from the sound setup here, and good mid and treble ranges as well. It's sweet. I cannot thank Sparx and Palmer enough. Those guys rock. As do all the guys on my Discord, to be honest. There's some really good guys on there. Ugh, I'm so bad at this game. It's really hard, I find. I made that point on Stephen's video, and he's talking about the MSX, he's talking about Salamander and Gradius, and them being good on the MSX, and they are, but they're blooming hard games. I say I should have gone for double, but oh, in fact that wasn't a good idea, because when you go for double, you can see you fire a lot slower. Laser is what you really want, and then options. See, I can't do that here. And I didn't need another speed up. Oh, let's press escape. Let's have another go. Yeah, if you do really badly, just quit out and have another go. That's my thing. Let's try it the right way this time. The first thing you need to do is get the speed one. And I can never remember exactly where they come. That's it. I don't know why. I seem to have a blind spot for remembering the exact position where they come on. And what you don't want is a second speed up. Let's have a missile. Oh no, I've messed that one up already, I think. These ones are easy if you stay in a particular spot. If you try and just move up and down and fire, you miss them sometimes. As they bob and weave. I want the laser. Come on, give me the laser. That's it. Okay, I kill that one. That's it. Option. Got to watch out with stuff there coming up behind you if you're not careful. And this is one of those games where you can crash into the background stuff. So like there's trees along the bottom. Yeah, you can't go over those. You can't go over that rock. Second option. This is also a classic example of those games where when you die and you lose your power-ups, you are then absolutely knackered. Yeah, you've got to play almost flawlessly if you want to stand a chance. Unless you're really good at it, but... I think you can get 4 of those options, can't you? I mean, you can see though, the colour thing there, it's not causing any issue at all. Even as things scroll across, you can't see any anomalies. This is the volcano bit. Yeah, if you position the options underneath you like that, just keep firing generally, I think you're alright with that. Here's the boss. But it's good with the options here, because you can try to stay well out of the way, and nearly got hit by that then. Let the options do the work. Oh god. I don't actually know how I avoided those two. Almost near. Oh, hits. There we go. And to be fair, once I get to this point, I can usually get all the way to like the 3rd or 4th bit, but then it gets incredibly difficult really quickly. Missed a thing there, didn't I? Hey, 4 options. It's crazy, isn't it? No slowdown either. Bear in mind, I'm using the 534 here, so 50 megahertz 030. But this will run under standard 68,000. You just don't get quite as good a performance if you had to play on something like a 1200 or higher spec machine. But it's OCS, so that's the thing. You can play it on any Amiga. One of the problems having so many options, you start to be able to not see what's going on because of all the options. Go on myself there. Now you watch, this is where it gets absolutely insane now, because I haven't got the options, I haven't got anything. I think I've just got 1 speed up that it's let me keep. Of course, we need to go for those turrets. Oh. Yeah, it's just not going to go well now. This is I usually get further than this, but not without those power-ups. I can switch auto fire on the stick. There'll be a view on this joystick coming up too actually. It's a really cool, cool joystick. It's like the smallest little move in the wrong direction and you're dead. Anyway, I think you can agree it looks great on that screen, but black. Maybe we should try something that's not got a black background. Let's try a bit of maybe Buggy Boy. Yeah, it looks fantastic, doesn't it? So those blue bits down here, you can't see anything. You can't see anything. See what it looks like with the road. Yeah, look, you can't see anything. It's weird, isn't it? At least, oh yeah, I can just see a bit down the green. If you've got the green, you can sort of see one of those, what look like fingerprints. But I'm very, very pleased, I'm very grateful. It's amazing those guys would send me that. And obviously, the main thing in this video as well, I say the main thing, is two things. VGA adapter, it works really well. I'm so pleased. I missed that. What do we need? We need light blue. That one. Magenta, yellow, and then red. Oh, I just missed the red. Am I in Logan here? No, I'm not. Blue and purple. It just looks amazing. You know, there's a lot to be said. I know we talk about CRTs and how amazing CRTs are, but you know what? This looks better than my CRT. I always find this, I think, wow, CRTs look amazing, and then I go back to an LCD screen like this that gives a really good picture, and I always then think, actually, it's better than a CRT. I don't know, there is something about the scanline thing on a CRT, but there's no dispute, I think this looks better than my 1084, without a doubt. The colours are just absolutely brilliant, they really pop. Quite like a lot of these cutesy sort of games. I think there's a limit on credits here, yeah, you can go up to 5, can't you, by pressing up. It just looks incredible, it really does. I mean, the thing is, well, I don't know what the thing is. I was going to say it's kind of upscaled. Well, it is. This display will display interlaced, and it's upscaling here because it's like a 1080p display, this, I think. And that's the nice thing with some of these DELL monitors. And there are a number of different monitors you can use like this on the Amiga. It's not just this one model. I'll put a link to a list down below where you can check up whether, you know, the 1084 monitor you're looking at, or it doesn't necessarily need to be 1084p, just VGA, you know, VGA displays, which ones work with the Amiga, which ones don't, in terms of interlaced and non-interlaced. And that's the thing, isn't it? We're testing, you know, non-interlaced here. If I just come out of that and we test something like Agony, this is the key. That with that adapter we've got VGA output, and then your monitor, your display has to support interlaced for some games. So like that screen there's interlaced, no flicker whatsoever. I can see the fingerprints, but that looked crystal clear there. Yeah, you get that sort of shimmering thing there, that's normal no matter what display you have. That looks amazing, absolutely amazing. No issues displaying that. Same here, this is interlaced. It's crystal clear, dead sharp. Let's hit fire. Wow, that just looks amazing. Yeah, for me there's no comparison. I do love my 1084S, but this just beats it hands down. Just as, you know, that's the same reason why when I was in the conservatory there, I would use the old Philips 32-inch LCD, because similarly that gives us a display just as good as this, if not maybe slightly better than this, but if there is a difference, it's not much. This just looks incredible. Auto fire up. Let's quit out of that. Let's also try the intro to Alien Breed Special Edition. Just because you get interlaced stuff there on the title screen, you know, where I think where it says Alien Breed actually. Yeah, that's interlaced. You always get that flickering thing, but crystal clear. Yeah, this is interlaced here. Rock solid. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Sweet. That may even be interlaced actually. I think it is, because when we tested the AJ multifix, that's where we had the scanline thing there as well. So that just looks amazing. And I guess the other thing we should do is just test a few of the standard display modes here on the desktop. Screen mode, there it is. If we go, say, PAL Super High Res, will it do that? I don't know. It'll do High Res Lace, because I think... let's do Lace first, let's do that. Use. Yeah, so High Res Laced, it flickers. So it's interesting, isn't it? You still have the flicker. So it's not doing flicker fixing, but it is displaying interlaced. That's not what I expected, because yeah, the Philips does that. The TV, you know, the TV in the conservatory does the same thing, but it only flickers when you move the cursor. So that's got some sort of intelligence in there to go. The picture's not changed, just display the frame as it was, which gets rid of the flicker. This has not got that removal of the flicker for do super high res. I don't think that's going to work. Oh my god, it does. And actually, there's no flicker there. It's probably a case of that resolution fits better. Maybe it's not an interlaced resolution actually, I don't know. Maybe just the fact we're using VGA, and I don't know, it seems solid that, doesn't it? I mean, you could use it like that. Everything looks a bit small and squished up to me, so I wouldn't like to leave it on that personally. We'll try super high res laced. Oh, there we go, it wasn't laced. That's going to flicker. Yeah, so in terms of the interlaced stuff, yeah, we do still get the flicker on this display, but the thing is, it supports it, doesn't it? We're no worse off here than on the 1084S, because you get the flicker on there. So yeah, that's really cool. Let's go with PAL High Res, I think. Let's try that. Yeah, it just looks amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below about that there. Do you think I should take it to pieces? Do you think it's just a fingerprint somewhere? It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? And you know, if you sort of press around, and I don't like doing this, doing the finger. Yeah, you can't really influence like the colour or anything. So it's not like, I don't think there's anything actually wrong other than a bit of dirt. I do think that's all it is. This arm works out really well, but the monitor's perhaps just a bit close to me here. I think if I relocate that arm like right over there next to the 1084S, and then swung it the other way, it might allow me to swing it backwards further towards the wall. You know, the way things are at the moment, because it's in the middle here, you're kind of knackered as to where you can move it. You know, I can obviously pull this thing forward like that, and I can push it back, but that's its limit there now. Can't go any further back, but it would be able to if the arm was that side. Yeah, and you can see the speakers here, Cambridge Soundworks. Underneath the bench we've got the woofer that goes with that. It's two things actually. I think it's got like a mid-range and the woofer built in. But I get a really nice balance of, you know, like bass, treble and mid with this setup with these two little speakers on here, so very pleased with that. This was my original sound system that I used, must be 20 odd years ago now, and I gave this to my father actually when he upgraded his PC and I moved to headphones. I went to 5.1 headphones, and I really wish I could find a decent 5.1 set. I've talked about this before. There's a video somewhere on my channel for when I fixed the crusty old Trust headphones I had. Those are 5.1, and they were proper, true 5.1. So what I mean is, you know, you had wires that came off. We had front left and right, back left and right, and then you had the, you know, the other one, the bass and the whatever it is, the centre thing. And you can actually do the sound test, like, you know, whether you get a voice that goes, you know, front left, rear left, front right, etc. It goes around you. You can actually hear the sound going around you. So I really miss not being able to use those headphones because they just eventually died. If you've got any suggestions on decent 5.1 headphones, I mean like proper 5.1, not ones that do, you know, fake 5.1, but ones that actually give you true 5.1, please post in the comments down below. I'd love to try and find a pair. Obviously not for this, because you don't get 5.1 sound out of an Amiga, but, you know, for my PC, for my Xbox, etc. Yeah, I'll just leave you here with the title screen on Wings of Death, because this is always a good test on displays. A really good display where you're getting really crystal clear, you know, pixel perfect stuff going on, good colours. The bit with the dragon here, you get this effect. I don't know what it's called. I'll stick it top left. It's here it is. To my eyes, it looks like this dragon is almost floating off the background. It's something to do with the way the brain interprets the difference between a dark red like that, you know, the black silhouette around the outside, and the purple and blue around the back there. I'm hoping it comes across in the capture. I filmed this before, the same thing, and I talked about it on the Philips 32-inch LCD there, and the same thing is true. That as I stare at that picture, it's got a depth to it. It looks absolutely incredible. The dragon, you know, against this blue here, it looks like it's 3D. Honestly, it looks like I could reach my hand out and like touch it. It's bizarre. It's hard to explain, but let's say the terminology for that, it's a known thing that doesn't always affect everybody. It depends on how your eyes work, you know, and how your brain processes colours there. But I think that was done deliberately on the artwork for this. I always think that I've always thought that's an amazing piece of artwork on the Amiga. Yeah, and this isn't really a review of this monitor, but you can see, you know, you've got the standard sort of built-in menu here, and these little buttons down the right-hand side. Hang on, it's gone off now, menu. So yeah, the standard sort of brightness, contrast, you've got various things. But the other thing is, this has got aspect ratio, and you can see that here. You know, what I was testing there, we've got these black bands, because I've put it in 4:3, so that it looks, you know, correct scale and aspect ratio. And I guess if it works with the Amiga here, it would also work with like an Atari ST, PC Engine, other systems that give you an RGB signal where the frequencies are similar. Yeah, so a huge thanks to Palmer, to sparxUK, and to Jeff, you know, hey Birt, because without him I wouldn't have that adapter there, the connector that is. So a huge thanks to Kavanoz as well, because it was Kavanoz that sent these little PCBs to Sparx, and there's a link here which will be down below to PCBWay. It's Eduardo Kinmami from Japan that actually created this little PCB, so thank you very much to Eduardo. And the adapter obviously came from Barry, but the monitor came from Palmer and Sparx. So the one thing I regret with this is soldering this on before making absolutely sure it was totally straight. It kind of looks straight if you look at it like that, but yeah, it's got like a little twist like that to that side. Just it comes up here marginally compared to that side. It's hard to see. I can sort of see it here now. It's like this 0.5 millimetre height further up here than there is there, if you see what I mean. So yeah, if you're assembling one of these, yeah, just make sure that that's, you know, it's pushed as flat as it can be into there before you start to solder. But that works really well. It'd be nice if there was some sort of HUD or something I could put this in. I don't know, I might just be able to get like a 25-way one, and if I get one that's wide enough, it might just accommodate some of the stuff here. So I don't know, I might cover that in a future video. But yeah, incredible. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the LCD monitor there, the DELL, and I love this little adapter. So I hope you found that interesting. If you'd like to support the channel, please see the Ko-fi and Patreon links down below. Catch you in the next one.